Well, okay, one note on the update of Bill Belichick in North Carolina. There have been a lot of different and varying reports. This one here from inside Carolina, you would think they would know that they are finalizing a deal to land Bill Belichick as a new football coach. I have not seen anything since I arrived at the studio or since we have been on the air that where it seems like it is leaning that Bill Belichick will become the head coach at North Carolina, but nothing yet official. Other than that right there, all but official that they're finalizing the details with him.
Well, this is wild news that I did not think we would be talking about. I know it's not official, so we'll still have a show maybe later today. It'll become official, and we can talk about it in that capacity, or maybe it's tomorrow. Certainly feels like something's going to break in the next couple of days before the week is up. And that's what I'm wondering about the West Virginia job is it does feel like North Carolina is kind of winding this down because the only name you're hearing is Belichick. But with West Virginia, I wonder what Ren's timeline is. Like, because there's got to be this feeling of, I mean, you feel it with the fan base, right? Like they need to hire somebody, but I do wonder how much longer that's going to go on and how patient he will be with that search. But North Carolina's seemingly been locked in on Belichick for a few days now. And it doesn't, again, I'm not a North Carolina fan. So as an outside observer, I go, Belichick, like at his age and no Brady and, those types of things. Like, I don't know. But look, it's North Carolina football, right? We were just talking about this. It's not like it's Alabama or it's Texas. Would this bring interest in North Carolina football? Absolutely. Would there probably be some prospects that might not otherwise look their way? Absolutely. Would this bring coverage that they haven't quite had in this type of way? Absolutely. So I totally get the hire. I would not love to sign up a guy who's like approaching 75 and doesn't have his magic quarterback that he's had all this success with, but it's still Bill freaking Belichick. So if you can go hire arguably one of the greatest football coaches of all time, then I'm not going to say you're doing something stupid.
Yeah.
I just wish he was a little bit lighter in terms of age, but hey, what do I know?
Here's my question. Why in the world is he not wanted by NFL teams, or is he?
I have a theory on this. I think he's probably wanted by some NFL teams, but the teams that want him, he doesn't want. Like, I think he would have he's 26 or 27 wins away from Don Shula's record in the NFL. So that's 2 to 3, 3 average years and 2 really good years, or 2 years and then the first couple of a third one from breaking that record. I don't know if that's all that important to him as being the number one. I mean, he's already got more Super Bowls than anybody. Like, what does the total number of wins mean after that? Because they don't count the playoff wins either. Like, if you throw the playoff wins in there, he's dominant. So in his mind, he might already have that. I don't think he wants to go. Like, if he's gonna build something, he might as well innovate. And that's what he's trying to do at North Carolina if he takes that job, is rework the way that college football builds rosters and does it in the modern world. And for that, I have a lot of respect, because it's going to have to change no matter what. I mean, you hear coaches complaining about the calendar and different things all the time. They're going to have to do things a lot differently. Now, is this a swing that they can afford, that everybody could do? I mean, who even knows in the long run about what he's in this 400-page Bible of what they need to do? But I think when it comes to the NFL, it's, okay, if I'm going to get those wins and I want to win a Super Bowl again, I don't want to go to, the Jets and have to completely deal with bad ownership and all these other things. There's probably 4 owners he wants to work for. He worked for one of the best in Robert Kraft. Do you want to go work for Woody Johnson after you worked for Robert Kraft for a quarter century? Hell no. I don't want to do that. Do you want to go work, like Carolina's not going to be open more than likely, but do you want to go work for a guy like that? Or do you want to work for Jeff Lurie in Philadelphia and maybe win something? You know, the Giants maybe would have been intriguing to him, but again, that's a total rebuild.
Let's get back to. I
But
get
yeah,
it.
that's
No,
what I'm
you
saying.
answered
Like-
my question.
Yeah.
I'm glad you told me that. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly got an interest in it, and it's apparently ball in his court. So the interest is there. The homework is there. He did his homework assignment, came prepared to the job interview. They've talked multiple times. He's talking to potential staff hires. And he has made the comments, apparently, that the college game's a lot like the modern NFL, or vice versa. The modern NFL is a lot like the college game. And as we know, if he were to go take over an NFL job, you've got the whole free agency bugaboo you got to deal with, and you've got to wait to go get your star quarterback in the draft or whatever the case may be. Here, hey,
go get him.
Nice to meet you. I'm Bill Belichick. Here's my Super Bowl rings. You want to come play for me? And I think that would be appealing to a lot of people. So, yeah, it's easy to see why North Carolina is interested. It's apparently up to him now at this point, according to what's out there today. And I'm fascinated because here's a sport that, even this last summer we're talking about whether or not you're going to see an exodus of college coaches to the NFL because this assistant left for like the Dolphins running back gig or whatever, type of examples were out there. And here's the greatest NFL coach maybe ever trying to get into the college game. So I think we all had it backwards that it might not be as appealing to fans in some ways, but it maybe be more appealing than ever to college football coaches or former NFL coaches that are still looking to coach to get into college football nowadays because of what you have at your disposal. It's a totally different job than you've got to go and recruit 24/7 and grind away. It's not that anymore.
I don't think he's going to have to do that. I think that's why you bring your son along, who's very good at what he does at the University of Washington. You build a system. Eventually, you go kiss his ring if it's time to commit, that kind of thing. He's going to look at the names and the talent. He knows what he's doing. He can do that and set up a constructive, methodical process to help get them where they want to be.
Yeah, I think the part for me that I'm hung up on is he is 72, which doesn't mean he can't be fully functional and successful and still be, doing a great job. It just, because of that, it makes me wonder, all right, if you're building this thing up, like how long does that take? And maybe in modern college football, as we've seen with multiple examples, Kenny Dillingham being one of those, like less than 2 years. Less than 2 years, if you do it right, you can be winning a conference championship in certain places. And I don't think the ACC is just full of world beaters at the moment.
No.
Like he could get them into contention pretty quickly if he knows what he's doing and seems to be as prepared as he seems to be. So yeah, it's very interesting stuff. Never thought we'd be talking about this type of story in a million years.
I'll tell you, look, the best team of the last decade and a half in Clemson has lost 8 games the last 2 years. So, I mean, if you're going to strike and try to hit the big guys while they're down, I mean, Clemson's the ACC champ, but they're not, the ACC champ at 11-1 or 12-0.
There's nobody in that conference
They got help to get
like
into the
what
game.
Florida
Yeah.
State and Clemson were, where there's a Georgia sitting there, or what we see now from Texas or Alabama.
Yeah, no,
it's very much you can go get a piece of that.
Yeah, Fran Brown in Syracuse. He rolled in there in 1 year and started to make a lot of noise. Like, there's no reason Bill Belichick can't do it. He's just going to be wildly different style from Fran Brown. But point being that in college football now, because of the rules and the lack of them, you can definitely go into a program and quickly turn it around. This isn't a 5-year plan necessarily, although 400 pages, he's probably prepared for a 5-year plan if he needs to.
Yeah, it might be a little bit too much. That sounds like government right there. Garrett,